pursue, I feel like, the most elusive part of obtaining your auto dealer's license, and that is finding a location. So there's 4 types of dealer licenses that you can hold. The first one is, I'm actually got my little notes right here, new used auto commercial. So with the new used auto commercial, it'll allow you to sell new used automobiles and trucks to the public and licensed vehicle dealers. The next type of dealer license that you can obtain is a used auto commercial, and that one allows you to sell used automobiles and trucks to the public and licensed vehicle dealers. The third dealer license is the dealer wholesale only. So that one allows you to sell licensed vehicles to dealers or through the public auctions. And then last but not least is the auto broker. And that is anyone who wants to provide the service of arranging, negotiating, assisting, or effectuating for a fee or compensation the purchase of a new or used vehicle not owned by the dealer for a person. So what that all entails, so there's 4 licenses. The one that I want to pursue is the used auto commercial. So where it gets tricky is you have to find an office location with a display area. So you have to have at least 2 parking spots. So the difficult part about that is when you go to these commercial buildings, a lot of the times they'll release you the office, but they don't want to give up 2 of the parking spaces because there's typically other offices, businesses, tenants that have clients coming in and they need those parking spaces. So today I'm going to be out driving around the city looking for an office space that will allow me to get 2 parking spots. So one of the things that I felt was real tricky in that DMV course, where they say don't sign a year lease until you get the business license. But then at the same time, in order to get a business license, you have to have an office location or a place of business address. So it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like a dog going around chasing its tail. So what I feel the best way to go about doing it is finding an office location, maybe not yet signing a lease until you can kind of gauge whether or not the DMV is going to allow you to get the license and use that location. Once you're pretty confident that the DMV is going to go ahead and allow you to utilize that location, then go back, sign a lease. My goal is to find somewhere in the maybe 400 to 500 square feet with a monthly fee of about $500 to $600 if I can. The one mistake that people typically do when they go into business is they want to go and jump right into a 2,000 square foot office location or a retail location where they have a $2,500 a month rent, and in order just to break even, you have to make $2,500 in profit just to break even on the rent. That's not including utilities. It's not including your own bills that you got to pay for your own apartment or mortgage, clothes, food, groceries, gas. So my goal is to find the lowest price point. So I'm hoping to stay somewhere in the $500 range would be excellent. If I could get it for $400, even better. So I'm going to be out today just checking out locations. And throughout the video, what I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to have slides that breaks down. So let's go back to the first one. So the new used auto commercial, in order to have that, there's 4 components that you need to get in order to be able to get that license. The 4 components is you need to have an office location. So that's an office and location. You also need to have a sign that displays on the outside of the building, and a display area with at least 2 parking spots with an actual sign in front of the parking spots that shows that that's designated for your place of business. The next one was the used vehicle dealer. You also need an office and location. You need a sign as well, and a display area with at least 2 parking spaces or more. The dealer wholesale only, you need an office and a location. What's cool about the dealer wholesale license is you can actually do it out of your home or out of your garage. So I have seen people have done it before where they were able to get a license out of their garage. The one thing that I don't feel comfortable about with the dealer wholesale license is the fact that you have to sell the cars you have to display the cars at your house. So That means you're gonna keep them in your driveway or in your garage, and people would have access through the fictitious business name website where they would be able to find out your address. So not that we're going to be selling any unreliable vehicles, but at the same time, trying to keep your business separate from your home life is always in good interest for your family. Last but not least is the auto broker non-retail. You need to have an office, a location, a sign, but you do not need a display area. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and check out my first office, and out of respect for the office manager, I'm not going to be shoving a camera in their face unless they allow me to videotape this. But at the end, like I said, I'm going to have detailed notes in a PowerPoint presentation on the different steps and the requirements to obtain these licenses.
All right, now we're at step number 5 of the How to Get a Car Dealer's License series. And this is just my personal journey of the steps that I took to get my car dealer's license. There's no necessary order. This is just the order that I felt was the most necessary on doing the steps to get your car dealer's license. So step number 5 was the office location. And now I'm going to actually give you some tips on how I found my dealership location. You're not going to find it in Craigslist. You're not going to find it on LoopNet. You're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. I scoured Craigslist. I scoured LoopNet. I typed in Google. I would always type in, zip codes that I was looking at, and I would type in office rent. You would find some places, but most of the time they were like these, 1,900 square feet, 5,000 square feet office locations with warehouses, and I didn't need that. I am a small dealer, and I just need a minimum of 2 parking spaces in order to get my car dealer's license in the state of California. So I wanted the smallest office for the smallest or the lowest price point that I could find. So I actually had to do it the old-fashioned way of all around all the neighborhoods, or not neighborhoods, but all the commercial building places within, I would say, 10, 15 miles. So I literally spent hours driving by. I would see a sign up in front of a possible potential location that I was interested in. I would pick up the phone and I would call. The first thing that they're going to ask you is, yes, we have an opening. What's your business? That's the very first question. Be upfront and honest, because if you lie to them, most likely they're going to kick you out. So I was upfront and honest, and I was a little nervous because I know a lot of places do not want car dealerships because they don't want to tie up 2 parking locations, because the DMV requires you to have at least 2 parking locations in order to what they call a display area, where you actually have to sell your cars from those 2 locations. So a lot of commercial buildings, they're going to rent you the office space, but they don't want it. So make sure that you tell them up front what you plan on doing for your business. So that was the first thing. I called quite a few places. The minute that I told them, hey, I'm going to be opening up a used car dealership, they would all say, no, thank you. We don't have any room for that. Or no, thank you. We already have too many of those in our location. So I was lucky enough to find a location not too far from my house. And what was cool about it, there was already one used dealer there. So that means in my mind that I know if one company is already operating out of that location, that the DMV is going to approve it. So I could feel pretty confident that I can actually sign a lease and know that the DMV will approve it, because that's always the tricky part, is you're afraid of signing a year lease and or possibly month to month, and putting up some money for the deposit and all this, only to find out that the DMV is not going to approve it. So that was cool that I saw that there was already one dealer already working out of that location. So that indicated that the DMV was going to approve it. So I actually called, and I was a little nervous on saying what my business was. And right away she said, oh yeah, that's great. I actually helped we already have one business like that in here, and I actually helped them get the approval from the DMV. And she gave me a tour, and it was great. The place was awesome. A little bit, not too much more than I wanted to spend, but so we're going to get into that. So let's first kind of recap the 4 different types of licenses first, and then I'm going to actually show you some pictures of my actual office and the price point. And then video number 6 is going to be the actual setting up of my display area. So right now, the 4 different types of dealers licenses: new, used, auto, commercial. This one allows you to sell new and used automobiles and trucks to the public and licensed vehicle dealers. Then you can actually purchase a used auto commercial. And that one allows you to sell used automobiles and trucks to the public and licensed vehicle dealers. Then you have the dealer wholesale only. That only allows you to sell to licensed vehicle dealers only, or you can actually run them through other auctions. And then the last but not least is the auto broker. And that allows you to provide the service of arranging, negotiating, assisting, or effectuating for a fee or compensation the purchase of a new or used vehicle not owned by the dealer for a person. So those are the different types of dealership. You need to choose what's right for you. So that depends. If you want a wholesale license, you can actually work out of your garage, which is great, especially if you're starting off. You're going to enjoy it. Working out of your garage is a very useful tool because then you don't have a monthly expense. So I have a monthly expense with a retail dealership because I have every month, whether I sell any vehicles or not, I still have to come up with a certain amount to pay my office rent and for my display area. So now you guys are all kind of curious to see what my office looks like. It's 172 square feet. So this is kind of like the entrance into it. I put like a nice couple chairs for, if they bring their family members to kind of relax. Then here is my area where my desk, I got a TV, have the pictures up, then here's another side view of the chairs. And then I put up a TV, sometimes when I'm in the office doing paperwork, it's kind of cool to throw on Netflix, watch a movie or watch TV. So that's it, 172 square feet. Now you guys are probably curious to see how much am I paying for 172 square feet, which is not very big, but it's big enough. I kid you not, you're not going to spend a lot of time in your office location. You're constantly going to be at the auction, or you could do a lot of it at home nowadays with technology. You could do FaceTime, pictures. You're not going to spend a lot of time at the office, so do not get caught up in buying this big old office space where you're paying $1,500 a month. Try to find the cheapest location you can, because that will help increase your profit margin. So now you want to know exactly how much I'm paying for my 172 square foot office location or my car dealer location. So here you go, $590 a month. So let's break down exactly where that $590 comes from. So every month, my rent is $445, and this is just an old statement. Parking in the state of California, you have to have, in order to get your retail license, you have to have a display area. And that display area, you need to have a minimum of 2 parking spots. And office location, they're charging me $50 a parking space. So that's where that $100 fee comes from. And then internet. So in order for me to have internet access, I didn't necessarily need to use their internet if I had my own, what they call mobile hotspot, or like a jetpack, or I think Verizon, they call it MiFi now. But that's still a fee in itself. I think Verizon or AT&T, they charge probably more, I think they charge more than $45, and it's not as good of internet. It's slower, and you don't get that many minutes or time on it. So internet, I opted to go ahead and get the internet. So all this adds up to $590 a month. And remember, you do not spend that much time at your office location. You're either out doing test drives, or most likely you're at the auctions, or you could even do it from home. You can bid online. If you watch a lot of my other videos, you can do it from your own home and bid online. So try to find the lowest price point for your office location. Do not get caught up in getting this, $3,000 a month lease. You want to get it, if I could have found something cheaper than $590, I would have went for something $300, and, just throw up a desk, put up your signs that you're required to do, because you want to have more room to make profit. So the less your overhead is, the greater your profit is. So this is what I actually am paying and what you would need to, and so one of my advices was you're not going to find your office location in Craigslist or LoopNet or any of these websites. You're going to have to do it the old fashioned way and just start driving around different areas. Or when you're, out and about doing your daily errands, start keeping an eye out and look at different locations. And they're always going to have a sign out in front with a phone number. Start calling, say, hey, this is my bit, I'm potentially looking to open up a car dealer. I need at least 2 parking spots. Is this something that you guys can help me out with? And they're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, you find out how much it is. If it's a price that you can afford, then go ahead and sign that lease. But make sure that the DMV is going to approve that location, because you don't want to sign a lease and then the dealer does not, or the DMV does not approve it. So I'm on a month-to-month lease, which is good. I'm not tied into a year lease. So if I ever need to walk away, or they jack up the rent too high, I can actually walk away, give them a 30-day notice, and I'm out. I'm not stuck in a year lease. So that's the other thing. Try to find a place that has a month-to-month lease, so that way you're not tied down. All right, well, I want to thank you. This was step number 5 of the car dealer's license. I want to thank you for tuning in.